Well, good morning. It's Thursday, and welcome to 10 with Tom. Good to be with you again. Um, Today, it's another game day here at the Village Church, so we're going to be having a good time with our students later today. And one of the things that we do every time we're together in the summertime is we play games that involve water balloons. And I don't know if you've ever blown up water balloons, but when you do them one at a time, it takes forever. I can remember when I was at another church, we would do water balloon games during the summer, and I would spend about 4 hours on a Sunday afternoon doing water balloons one at a time, and I would fill up coolers full of them. And when it was time for the game would last like 30 seconds, and we were done. And I kept thinking, 30 seconds for 4 hours worth of work. Is it really worth it? And we had a good time, but man, it was a lot of work and other stuff I just couldn't get done. One night I'm watching Shark Tank, and a guy comes on Shark Tank, and he has this idea for this gizmo that you attach to your hose, and when you put it on the hose, it's got little balloons attached to the end of these little long straw things, and you turn it on, and it inflates like 30 to 35 balloons at a time. And I've got one of those things here called Bunch of Balloons. All right, these things are awesome, and I can remember when he was on the show, the guys that were on the show were like, "What is this? What's the deal with this? Who would want to buy something that blows up like 35 balloons at a time, and you can blow up like 100 balloons in a minute?" And as soon as he asked the question, I was yelling at the TV. Any youth pastor in the world would love to have one of these things. How do I get it? And so I don't even remember the rest of the episode, whether he got money from them on Shark Tank or not. But I remember when those things came out in the store, I'm like, oh, I got to have these. And the first summer, everybody was kind of suspicious of them. They weren't quite sure how they were going to work and everything. So we bought a couple, and then somebody from the church donated a few that they had bought for a party and then they never used. And these were awesome. These are like the best thing ever. Well, then we found out that this store called Ollie's, their motto is good stuff cheap. They ended up having them, and we were buying like cases of them at a time. And you know, now they're getting harder and harder to get because people are realizing how cool they really are. But we go through tons of those things, and it allows us to do so many more fun things over the summer, and also blow up tons of balloons for water games. And so that's just a part of our summer. But I'm so thankful for the guy that came up with that idea. What a great idea! Because you know, somebody asked the question one time, how do you eat an elephant? And the answer is one bite at a time. You can't do it all at once. And when we were playing water balloons games, how do you play water balloon games? One water balloon at a time. And it took forever. But these little devices are awesome. Unfortunately, there aren't bunch of balloon solutions for everything that we go through. A lot of things, it adds up a little bit at a time. You know, think about grandparents who saved money for their grandchildren to go to college, and they just put in a little bit every week or a little bit every month, and it adds up over time. And by the time the kid graduates from high school, grandma or grandpa have put, you know, thousands of dollars in this account for college. What a cool idea. All right, but they had to be diligent and stay with it over time. You know, another thing, when we're working on diet or we're trying to watch our weight or whatever, you know, we're like, oh, I'm going to skip a meal today because I don't want to overeat too much. And at the end of the day, you step on the scale and you've gained 2 pounds. And you're like, how's that even possible? I hardly ate anything today. And then you start thinking, well, yeah, they brought some cookies to the office. I did have a couple of cookies. Yeah, and yeah, I saw somebody passing candy, and it's like, hey, I'll take just one piece of that. And I went somewhere and they had pizza rolls, and I only ate 6. You know, and then you go somewhere else and well, maybe I'll just have a slider. Oh, those are really good. I'll have another one because they're small. You start doing that, and it all adds up. All right, so we all know what that means. And so realize that everything you do adds up. All right, and so I want to encourage you today, as we look about, you know, what does this have to do with our lives? We need to have the consistency to go through things. You know, sometimes we see things in our life that we just don't like. You know, maybe it's our language, okay? And we find ourselves using words that we know our parents don't approve of, and they're really not the kind of words we want to be using in public. And we catch ourselves using them, and we finally say to ourselves, that's it. I'm going to stop. I'm going to clean up my language. I'm going to try and be an example for the kids around me. I'm going to be a better person. And so, you know, you work at it real hard, and you go a couple of days, and you don't swear at all, and you're feeling pretty good about it. And then, you know, you drop something on your toe, and boom, out it comes. And then you're like, oh man, I failed. No, you didn't. You succeeded for a couple of days. All right, you had a little setback. Now let's keep going. So you go maybe 3 or 4 days the next time, and then it happens again. Don't get discouraged. Keep getting up. Keep going. All right? Keep working on it. Keep building that discipline. If you ask somebody who wants to run a marathon, you just go out and run a marathon? No. You start by preparing, and you do a little bit at a time. And over time, it adds up. When I'm trying to get in shape and lose some weight, I'm not going to lose it all in one day. Right? It takes discipline over months to get anywhere near where I want to get on my goal. Right? And so it means getting up every morning and putting the shoes on even when I'm tired and going out and doing it. Right? And then when it's marathon day, how do you run a marathon? You run it one step at a time. You don't snap your fingers and you've gone 26.2 miles. So stay with it. Hang in there. Keep going one step at a time. And that discipline is what's going to get you to the finish line. In the book of Proverbs, which we've been reading this month, there's a great proverb that says this: all hard work brings a profit, but mere talk leads only to poverty. What a great verse. That's Proverbs 14:23. When we put work into something, we're going to profit from it. Right? That doesn't necessarily mean we're going to be rich because we did something, but it's going to have benefit to our lives. And the more we do it, the more it's going to pay off. If we just talk about doing great things and never put any effort into actually doing them, sorry, it's not going to happen. All right? You look at the great basketball players of the world. Look at Steph Curry and that incredible shot he has. He didn't just one day step out on a basketball court and start firing them in. No, he had to work at it day after day after day after day and miss an awful lot of shots until he got to the point where he became one of the greatest shooters in NBA history. So you got to stick with it, one day at a time, one shot at a time, but keep shooting. All right? And so keep building that discipline into your life. Whatever is the issue that you're trying to work on and become a better person about, keep at it. All right? Every day, a little bit more, you can do this. All right? God's going to help you through it because you're not in the battle alone. Now, there are some steps that we can all take to help us reach those goals that we're shooting for. As we're trying to live this out day to day, some of the things that you can do a little something today that's going to help you on the road to accomplish a larger task. For example, let's say your room's a mess. Start on a corner, spend 15 minutes working on something, make a little progress. All right? If your desk is a mess like mine, do a little bit and start to build that discipline in until you get it to where you want it. I had a problem with emails. I'm so busy all the time, and I would get 150 emails in a day, and I would just scroll through them really quick, see the 3 or 4 that I needed to deal with right away, and then I would just leave the rest unopened. Well, that just kept getting worse and worse and worse until after my dad died. I got back after his memorial service, and I had over 30,000 emails in my inbox, and over 23,000 of those were unopened. And I didn't want to just go through and just wipe them all out at one shot. All right? And so I started with a goal of I'm going to eliminate 180 every day that I'm at work. And so I just began to do that day after day after day, and little by little it started to shrink. And when COVID-19 rolled around, I was down to 6,000. I thought, oh great, if this lasts a couple of weeks, I might get it down to 4,000. Well, you know what? This thing has gone on so long, I got it down to 0. All right? That's exciting for me. But it happened one email at a time. It takes time. All right, secondly, if you're out looking for a job, complete at least one job application every day of the week. All right? You don't have to go out and hit 100 places in one day. Do one a day. You're working at it. All right? Set SMART goals for your own personal growth. SMART is an acronym. Goals that are specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and have to happen in a certain time period. All right? SMART goals. When you have a lot to accomplish, write down daily specific tasks for the next day before you go to bed. Because if they're written down, they won't keep you up all night as you start thinking about things you got to add to your list or that you may have forgotten. And you wake up the next day, you're more task-driven and you're ready to start your day. Finally, tell somebody that you trust what your goals are and how you're going to achieve them. That accountability will help to keep you more focused. And so when you've got a goal, let somebody else know. Share in it. Okay? You can do this. When you've got somebody holding you accountable, it makes it that much easier. All right? One step at a time, one bite at a time, one water balloon at a time. All right? You guys can do it. Have a great day. Try and stay dry and avoid those water balloons, but if you're throwing them, I hope you're right on target. Have a great day. I love you guys, and we'll see you later on 10 with Tom.